The Syrian Democratic Forces has lost massively against the Syrian Armed Forces led by former Hay'at Tahrir al-Sham leaders. Formed in 2015, the SDF was united by a common enemy, Islamic State. After the defeat of IS, the SDF was to guard the Democratic Autonomous Administration of Northeast Syria. But with the fall of Bashar al-Assad, the new Hay'at regime was able to use Arab nationalism and sectarianism to win over Arab elements inside the Syrian Democratic Forces. They also used the former Turkish puppets of the so-called Syrian National Army against the SDF and the autonomous administration. With the Western camp abandoning the remains of the SDF to the Syrian Arab Republic, the unique light that was the Rojava Revolution is about to go out. With the collapse of the Ba'ath Party in December 2024, Hay'at Tahrir al-Sham, commonly known as HTS, took control over the country. Their emir, a man called Mohammed al-Yulnani, became president of the Syrian Arab Republic under his original name, Ahmed al-Shara. In 2017, the emir of the al-Nusra Front, that was the predecessor of the HTS, was still regarded as terrorist by the USA because his group was founded as the Syrian wing of al-Qaeda. They were armed by Turkish imperialism and the reactionary Arab monarchies of the Middle East, who provided money and weapons. From 2017 until 2024, the Syrian Salvation Government of the HTS ruled as a reactionary theocracy in rebel-held Syria. They imposed Sunni Islamism on the Syrian working class. The Syrian Democratic Forces are not Kurdish. Despite claims in the Western media, the SDF was never created for Kurds only. It is a united military of Arabs, Kurds, and Assyrians who came together in 2015 to oppose Islamic State. The administration of Barack Obama called for the creation of a united front against the terrorist group, and so the Kurdish forces around the People's Protection Units, more commonly known as the YPJ, joined up with Arab forces such as the al-Sanadid forces and the Army of Revolutionaries. A Syrian forces also joined with the Syriac Military Council. It was the SDF who drove out Islamic State and liberated the Northeast from Islamic terrorism. The Syrian Salvation Government and the pro-Turkish Syrian Interim Government were dissolved after Bashar al-Assad fled to Russia. Emir Mohammed al-Yulnani disappeared, and in his place came Ahmed al-Shara in a nice capitalist business suit. This was done to please Western imperialism, because the new rulers wanted to end the Western sanctions. Both the European Union and the United States of America fell for the new look of Ahmed al-Shara. They ended the sanctions and declared that Syria was now suddenly free. The Democratic Autonomous Administration of Northeast Syria warned the West, but their warnings were ignored. The Syrian Armed Forces were rebuilt under Hayat's leadership. Turkey provided them with their own Arab puppets, the Syrian National Army, or known as SNA. This SNA was created by Ankara to fight the autonomous administration. It included many reactionary Arabs who had fought for Islamic State and fled to Turkey after their defeat. Turkish imperialism reorganized them and used the SNA to capture large parts of North Syria away from the autonomous administration. Ankara proudly gave the SNA to the Syrian Armed Forces after the fall of Bashar al-Assad. Then, Ahmed al-Shara could slowly start to rebuild his armed forces for the final confrontation with the Syrian Democratic Forces and their Democratic Autonomous Administration of Northeast Syria. Some might wonder why the Syrian Democratic Forces collapsed so quickly in late January 2026. The reason is betrayal. Many Arab units that were part of the SDF simply joined sides and raised the flag of the Syrian Arab Republic. Months of sectarian campaigns has done their work. Arabs were told by Damascus that the Kurds did not want to join the new Syria, that the autonomous administration is in fact a Kurdish state that would impose Kurdish cultural laws on the Arabs and split their country. In fact, Ahmed al-Shara had demanded that the autonomous administration dissolved itself inside the Syrian Arab Republic. The problem is that the Arab Republic remains a centralized state that is not secular and not democratic. In the 2025 interim constitution of Syria, it is said that the president's religion must always be Islam and that no law must contradict the teachings of the Islamic religion. This is because Hayat's leaders are theocratic-minded people who favor cultural conservatism and religion in politics. The autonomous administration was founded on progressive ideas that stand in complete opposition to the centralized mentality of the current rulers in Damascus. Secularism, feminism, and democratic control over many means of production serve as a unique beacon of light in the Middle East, which is still ruled by tribalism, sectarianism, male chauvinism, and religious intolerance. Despite claims of socialism, the Democratic Autonomous Administration of Northeast Syria is not driven by Marxism. The autonomous administration is based on the ideas of PKK founder Abdullah Öcalan, but it rejects class struggle. It also failed to see that Western imperialism is not its ally. Too often have SDF leaders tried to ally themselves to forces that oppose the Rojava Revolution. They also chose alliances with the Bashar government between 2017 and 2024. Between December 2024 and January 2026, the autonomous administration tried to compromise with Hayat, even allowing their military leadership to sign a document that ordered the Syrian Democratic Forces to dissolve into the Syrian Armed Forces of the Syrian Arab Republic. The final nail in the coffin was the defection of Arabic tribal units to the Syrian Armed Forces in late January. Groups like the al-Assad forces and the Army of Revolutionaries have their base of support in the Arab majority parts of Syria, with a majority Arabic population. By January 22, 2026, the Damascus government captured many Arab-majority towns, often with help from former Arab elements of the SDF. This forced the Syrian Democratic Forces back to the Kurdish majority-held regions of northeast Syria. The ideas of the Rojava Revolution are progressive, secular, and feminist, but they lack a clear break with elements of the past. The Democratic Autonomous Administration of Northeast Syria decided to make compromise with Arab tribal leaders who do not believe in secularism and feminism. Arab areas of the Autonomous Administration kept many cultural conservative norms. In January 2026, the Arab tribes simply abandoned the Democratic Autonomous Administration of Northeast Syria for the Syrian Arab Republic. Why? Because they have the same ethnicity and share the same cultural values. In 8 years, the Autonomous Administration tolerated cultural conservatism in the hope of keeping the Arab tribes on board. This now backfired, as tribal leaders chose the reactionary Damascus government over the secular Autonomous Administration. Arab nationalists are celebrating the collapse of the SDF. Turkish imperialism will be very happy that the ideas of Abdullah Öcalan are about to be destroyed in Syria. Turkey knows that Ahmed al-Shara is on their side, and his reactionary men have already shown their hatred of feminism. In a northeastern city, men loyal to Damascus have destroyed a statue of a female SDF fighter. They cheered as the statue of female resistance to Islamism was destroyed. Other statues and monuments of inclusiveness, secularism, and feminism will also be destroyed as soon as the whole northeast is fully under control of the Syrian Arab Republic. Can Damascus keep control over the Kurds and Assyrians by brutal force? Syrian Kurds are right not to trust the HTS government. Also, many Arabs only support the government because they want to reunite the country. But Syria cannot be rebuilt on cultural conservatism, forced centralism, and Islamism. Kurds will not accept cultural oppression again, as it has been under the Ba'ath party in the past. The Kurdish YPJ and their female department, YPJ, might still put up a fight if the Autonomous Administration has the will to put up a fight to defend the last free areas of the Rojava Revolution. American imperialism has made it clear to the SDF that they will not get any support. The USA is looking the other way, as a former terrorist conquers the northeast by force. Kurds and Assyrians are right to be worried. The Arabs have abandoned them, and now they feel hopeless. It is unclear if Kurdish political parties like the Democratic Union Party, the PYD, will call for massive resistance. Revolutionary socialists say that Syria needs a revolutionary workers' party, a party that can unite Arab, Kurdish, Assyrian and Druze workers against their common enemy, the capitalist HTS government in Damascus, because the new Syrian president has made capitalism the ruling economy of Syria. He wants to sell the Syrian economy to foreign capitalists in the foolish belief that foreign investment will make Syria great again. In reality, poverty will not end with more markets and less government. Syria needs democratic control, but that is something the HTS leaders will never allow. This is why revolutionary socialists call for mass mobilization of the remaining SDF, YPJ and YPJ forces. No forced assimilation of Kurdish and Assyrian areas into the Syrian Arab Republic. No to the Syrian interim constitution. Stop the human rights abuses carried out by the Syrian Armed Forces. Solidarity with the people of the Northeast who want to defend the gains of the Rojava Revolution. For the creation of a revolutionary workers' party in Syria for all ethnic groups. Against the capitalist Damascus government and its reactionary mentality. Turkish imperialism out of North Syria. Full democratic control over the Syrian economy. For a secular socialist Syria that supports inclusiveness and socialist feminism.